experience. She is a pioneer in combining psychology and Islam in her talks. She is also the founder of the 5 Pillars of Marriage program. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Haleh.
And mental health awareness. So let's hear it for the Plano Masjid. All the volunteers, all the organizers, we really need to bring this kind of attention to mental health. Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Hopeless, defeated, immobilized. She laid in her bed at 11 a.m. scrolling down her Instagram feed, comparing her miserable life to the seemingly perfect life of everyone else, comparing her ordinary, flabby, imperfect body with all the perfect bodies that she saw, and comparing the number of likes that she got compared to the number of likes her friends got. The rejection of her friends confirmed her uselessness. The disappointment of her parents was unbearable. The pain of her sins ached her conscience. She felt worthless. She felt unloved. She felt like her life was not worth living. Many people suffer with these raw emotions. Many people suffer silently. Many people suffer from depression. You know, it's normal to feel sad from time to time. It's normal to want to be alone. And it's normal to mourn the loss of your loved one. But how do I know if what I'm feeling is normal? Okay? Let's say you study, you do bad on your test, you feel sad. You lose a loved one, you feel lonely. And maybe you don't get the job that you wanted, and there's disappointment in your heart. Now, these are all situational. They're situational, and it's very normal to feel sadness when you have these situations. But how do you know? How do I know if I'm clinically depressed? How do I know when it's time for me to go and get help, get professional help? So there are 8 signs, all right? 8 signs that are on the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. What if you wake up one morning and you're so sad and you have no reason to be sad? And if this persists week after week, it may be one of the signs of depression, and especially if it lasts for more than 2 weeks. So the first sign is a persistent feeling of sadness. Okay? I'm not talking about feeling sad when you get grounded. I'm not talking about feeling sad when you have a fight with a friend. I'm not talking about feeling sad when you've gained a lot of weight. Okay? I'm talking about feeling so sad you can't get out of bed. Feeling so sad that you can't even go and take a shower, and feeling so sad that you don't even want to meet up with your friends. Okay? I had a friend of mine that actually was sharing with me her struggle every single day. She was a smart person, very smart, very talented, but she struggled every day because of that sadness. And most of the people who come see me, it's because of this. They feel so overwhelmed with sadness, and they really don't know why. So number 1 sign is that persistent sadness. And it could be, for adolescents, this sadness manifests itself in irritability. So you have people who act out, who will get frustrated. Let's say they will get out of bed, they will shower, they will see their friends, but they will chew everyone out. They'll let them have it. And so that irritability could be one of the signs of depression. I had one client who came in, and her mom described her as a bubbly, outgoing, athletic girl. She was the clown, the class clown. And now what she started feeling is being very withdrawn. There was sadness, and she was irritable. All she would do was yell back at her parents, get mad at her friends. So this sadness and irritability is one of the first signs of depression, of clinical depression. Now, number two, the second sign is hopelessness. This is when you lose hope. You lose hope about getting better. You lose hope about the future. You lose hope about anything that you ever dreamed of. And it's so hard to be in this situation because when you're in this state, nothing can make you feel better. And people can come up to you and say, you know what, you have so much going for you. You have so much to be excited about. And no matter what people say, it doesn't make a difference. So this first sign was sadness. The second sign is hopelessness, okay? And Allah says, إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسُ مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. That do not despair of the relief of Allah except, no one despairs of the relief of Allah except the disbelieving people. Here, Allah is equating pessimism, hopelessness, that feeling of nothing's going to get better with what? With disbelief. Okay? So I know that many of you may have been brought up around pessimism. Maybe you have that pessimistic personality and you only see the gloomy side of things, but I want you to reflect on this verse. This verse is saying that if you choose to be a pessimist and not have hope, then you are equating that, Allah is equating that with kufr, right? So the reason optimism is so important. Why is it important? Because you are affirming Allah's names and attributes. Okay? So always have that hope. The third sign is called anhedonia, which is a fancy word for loss of interest. Let's say you are really into working out. You love basketball, you love going and playing soccer, you love working out, and suddenly none of that brings you the same joy. That is when depression has hit. And it could be, maybe you were maybe you used to love to paint, you're artistic, you like to do crafts, and now there's just no interest. You don't even want to bring out the paintbrushes. And it could be that you used to be very social. You loved your time with your friends. But now, you'd rather be alone. You'd rather be in your room and not interact with anybody. So that could be one of the signs of depression. And it is so hard to motivate yourself to do anything because nothing interests you anymore. Not school, not family, not friends, none of your hobbies. Okay? And I remember having a client who was a very good student. She always excelled. She was always top of her class. And suddenly she found herself, she's like, I don't even want to study. She was failing her classes because she just completely lost all interest in her studies. The fourth sign is decreased concentration and indecision. Okay? And this is so difficult. If you have work, if you're a student, if you have any kind of responsibilities, everything takes so much longer. It's hard to get yourself to focus. It's hard to make decisions. And what happens is what's called decision paralysis, where you are incapable of making any kind of decision. Okay? And this fifth one is a change in sleep. Now, I know all of you love to sleep in, okay? And just because you love to sleep doesn't mean you're depressed. But if you see a huge change in your sleeping pattern. So let's say you start taking naps out of the blue for hours and hours. Let's say you start sleeping a lot more. That could be an indication that you're depressed. And it could be that you have difficulty sleeping. So if you see any changes in your sleep pattern, whether you're sleeping a lot or you're not sleeping and you can't fall asleep, and there's no reason for it, right? It's not like you can't sleep because you have a test coming up or you're anxious about anything. You can't sleep because you're depressed and you don't know what to do about it. So that's another sign. And the sixth sign is when you have changes in your weight. There are certain people, when they get depressed, they turn to comfort food, okay? They go for the carbs, the fries, the cake, the ice cream, and they just eat, and they end up gaining. Some clients will tell me when they were depressed, they gained up to 40 pounds because of all that they were eating. Now, there are some that when they get depressed, they lose their appetite. They don't eat anymore, and they start losing weight. I had a client recently tell me that their daughter she became so depressed, she stopped eating. She stopped eating. They were so worried about her because she would just keep losing so much weight. So if you see a big shift in your weight, and you're not on ketosis, you're not on a diet, you're not trying to lose weight, then know that this might be one of the signs of depression. Okay? The seventh sign is worthlessness. This is when a person feels like they're not good enough, that they can't ever be good enough, and their life is meaningless. When a person feels worthless, that's when they start contemplating suicide. They start feeling like, I have nothing to give, no one's going to miss me, I have no impact on this life. Okay? So worthlessness is a horrible feeling to have. And the eighth sign is recurrent thoughts of suicide or death. Okay, that's suicidal ideation. There are people that I've talked to that all day long, all they can do is think about how they would take their own life. I had one client who was in his early 20s that is all he could think about. And it was in such despair that his only thought was how he could take his own life. Okay? So when someone daydreams about that all day long, this is a sign of clinical depression, right? And some people, there are some Muslims out there that they know that suicide is haram. So if you ask them about suicide, they go, no way, I would never do that, that's haram. But what do? They dream about dying. They wish for dying. They pray for dying. And that's the same thing as suicidal ideation. Okay? So if you find yourself praying, Ya Allah, take me, you think of death as an escape. Like, my life is so miserable and in so much pain that the only escape is death. If you have those thoughts, then that's definitely suicidal ideation. And that could be one of the signs of clinical depression for you. Now, we talked about 8 signs. If you have at least 5 out of 8 of these signs, then it's very likely that you're clinically depressed. And what I recommend is for you to see a mental health specialist, get treated, because you know what it is? Early detection is key. It's not something you can ignore. It's not something that will go away. You know, some people tell their kids, you know what, it's all in your head. Yes, it is in your head. It is a mental, chemical imbalance, and we have to address it. What happens if you don't get a cavity fixed, right? If you have dental work and you ignore it, it just gets worse, right? And it turns from cavity to root canal. Same thing with mental health. It's not something you ignore. The more you ignore it, the bigger the problem becomes, okay? Allah says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. And we will surely test you with something of fear, hunger, loss of wealth, lies, and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient. Your mental health could be your test. You know, we always hear about the different kinds of tests. It could be, someone goes through a divorce, it might be illness, but it also could be your mental health. The fact that you're suffering from depression, this could be your test. And just the way we deal and we accept our test and we pass the test, the way you pass it, first of all, you seek treatment. Do something about it. Second is you accept in others. You never fall into the trap of saying, why me, Allah? Why? Why do I have to have depression? Everyone else is happy and I'm the one suffering from this. Just know that whatever Allah has chosen for you, He does not burden you with anything that you can't handle. And when you remember that, and you realize that this test, there's always Haleh, okay? I know that it can be hard, and these powerful poems that we heard tonight, they really express the struggle that a person goes through. It's not easy. It's very difficult. It's something that people can't see, so people are not very sympathetic. They're not very educated about it, and you may not get much sympathy. When someone is diagnosed with cancer, everyone goes in, they see them, they bring flowers, they come to the hospital. But when you have mental illness, it's like people want to just ignore it. So it's really critical to realize that this is a test. And just like passing all your other tests, see it as a test, and inshallah, it will pass. Now, what if you only have 2 or 3 out of the 8 symptoms? Right? I'm sure many of you could relate to these symptoms. And maybe you just feel that sense of worthlessness, or maybe you just lack that sense of interest in the things you used to like, or you're sleeping a lot more. So you only have 2 or 3 of these symptoms. What then? Okay? You need to realize that with small changes in your thoughts, you can fix it. With small changes in your behavior, you can fix it. And with small changes in your attitude, you can fix it. So these are the signs, these symptoms. If you only have a few of them, by making changes behaviorally, you will definitely make changes within your psychology and with your mental health, inshallah. So maybe your sadness is situational. The situation could be your parents are going through a divorce. And I know how painful that can be for people. You're torn, you're sad, you're frustrated. This is situational, but if you change your attitude, if you correct the way you think about it, it will become so much easier, okay? They say that 10% is what happens to you, and 90% is how you react to it. So don't be caught up in what happened to you. Be focused on how you react. Right? So if you control that, then you have power over yourself. You know, they've done research on depression to figure out, is it genetics? Is it the way we're brought up? Is it our environment? And in the study, they did a test with paternal and paternal twins in the book, The How of Happiness. I would recommend that book. I think it's a wonderful book. And in this, they indicate that everyone has a happiness set point, right? I'm sure you see amongst your peers, amongst your friends, there's some people who are just so cheerful, right? They're just so much more cheerful, and there are others who are more mellow. So there is a happiness set point that we all have, and 50% is genetic. 50% something you can't do anything about. It's who your mom is, who your dad is, your DNA. You have absolutely nothing you can do with this. But guess what? 50% you can control. That other 50% is where the power lies. So no matter what kind of mom and dad you have, what kind of DNA, what kind of genes, you can learn skills, you can find ways to totally change your happiness. And that means get you out of the depression, okay? So that is powerful information to know. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. He who created death and life to test you, which of you is best indeed, and he is exalted in might and forgiving. So you're each given a set of circumstances, okay? Each of you, whether it's the parents you've had, your opportunities, your education, where you were born, where you were raised, all of these are set of circumstances that you can't do a whole lot about. But what you do with your circumstances, what you do with your life, how you choose to live it, how you decide to control your life, that is the test. Allah saying that we will test you to see who is best indeed, right? Who is best? Because there are so many people who will have so much given to them, and yet they do very little with it. And then you see the exact opposite. Individuals who have been tested, who have been tried, who have very little to offer, and what do? They turn their life around, and they do amazing things. So let's focus on what we can control, and inshallah we will pass that test. So a lot of you may be thinking, what are the causes of depression? Number one is that not living according to your values. That means there's no congruence between your beliefs and your actions. So think about it like this. This is your ideal self. This is how we would like to be. And then your self-image, it is here, and there's a huge gap between who you want to be and who you actually are. The bigger the gap, the more you're going to feel depressed. Okay? And let me tell you what I mean by that. Maybe you know that praying 5 times a day is a must, but you're skipping prayers. Maybe you know you shouldn't be partying and dating and drinking, but you're doing it anyway. When there is no congruence between what you believe, what your set of beliefs, and your actions, then what happens is that you feel stressed. You feel hurt, you feel angry. I had a client come in and her therapist had told her, do whatever makes you happy. Go for it. Go and experiment. Go and do this. And yet, from those experiments, she became in so much turmoil. All of that led her to just so much anxiety and so much depression. So the more we have, in order to be psychologically healthy, our beliefs and our actions have to match up. Okay? Second reason for depression is past conditioning. Okay? Past conditioning is basically the story of your life. Think about the story of your life. What did your parents tell you? What did your friends think of you? What did your teachers think of you? All of this it all forms your self-esteem. Okay? So what your parents told you could either build you or destroy you, right? What your peers, your friends think of you, that can either build your confidence or it can totally shatter it. And what your teachers thought of you can either empower you or totally, it makes you lose your confidence. And if you have any kind of past trauma, one of the things I ask my clients is if they had any past abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, sexual, and generally those people who have had that, they will experience some level of depression. And if any of you, and I'm sure there are many in this room who have experienced it, definitely seek help from a mental health specialist. Don't ignore it. Don't think that it'll just go away. It will come creeping up. Maybe not now, maybe when you get married, when you have kids, it'll all come bubbling up. So the best thing you can do is address it now. The third thing is negative self-image, right? Maybe you feel like, oh, I don't like the way I look, I don't like my body, I don't like my personality, I don't like my thing. And all of this makes you feel so depressed if you're focused on what you don't have. So what are the solutions? Okay, I'm all about solutions. So the first thing is be aware of your self-talk. You know that conversation you're having in your head right now? What is this lady saying, right? That conversation, that will really affect everything in your life. What happens if all day long you say to yourself, I'm so depressed. Oh my God, my life is so sorry. Everything is horrible. And then you start feeling depressed, even if you're not depressed. And you start saying those things to yourself, you're going to feel so down. So the way to take control is take control of your self-talk, what you say to yourself, okay? What would happen is you observe, as a third party, you observe someone talking to another person and saying the things you say to yourself. What would happen? We beat ourselves up. We say horrible things. And I think that we need to really take control. Stop any form of negative self-talk. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm too thin, I'm dumb, I can't do it, I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough. All of this you gotta stop, because that's what's gonna affect you. The second thing that you need to do, you know, a lot of times we're either living in the past, we're regretting the past, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, I can't believe I made that mistake, I can't believe I went there. Or you're anxious about the future where you're like, oh my God, am I going to get married? Who am I going to get married to? Am I going to get a job? Will I get it? And all of this makes you so anxious. So we need to stay in the present and be mindful. So one was that self-talk, mindful. Third thing you can do is just exercise. Do you know that they have done studies that exercising, just going out 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week is as effective as Prozac. And all you have to do is just go out there and exercise, and your body will produce the right chemicals for you. Now, this is not if you're clinically depressed. This is if you're just a little down and you have a few of the symptoms, all right? And then the next thing you can do is live a life with purpose. Anytime someone feels like they don't have a sense of purpose, that's when they get down. When a person is depressed, when they're bored, when they have nothing to do, that's when they turn to drugs. That's when they do a lot of things that destroys their life. So if you have a life of purpose, go out there, volunteer, do things that will add meaning to your life, and that will definitely change it. Your diet definitely helps. I've seen clients, when they change what they're eating, if they stay away from sugar, grains, they feel their psychology becomes so much better. They're less lethargic, okay? And what I recommend is every day, no matter how depressed you are, do 3 small tasks, okay? Even if that's get up out of bed, and write it down. Get up out of bed, take a shower, go meet a friend for coffee. Even if it's as simple as that. Do you know that every time you complete a task and you check it off, you release dopamine? You release dopamine, you start feeling good about yourself. So these are some of the things that you can do. Distinguish between whether you're clinically depressed or where you're just maybe a little down. Know that you can take some action if you're just a little bit down. And do the things to definitely make a positive impact in your life. And the last thing I want to leave you with is just be grateful. You know, a lot of times we focus on what we don't have. I don't have this, I don't have that car, I don't have the parents I want, I don't have the brother, I don't have the job. Whatever it is, focus your mind on what you do have. Okay? When you wake up in the morning and say, what am I grateful for? What am I excited about? What can I bless, what am I blessed with? And you focus on all of those things, you will feel amazing. So Jazakallah khair, Assalamu alaikum.